gonna take you back to the past to play the shitty
Monday Night Raw.
Suck ass. He'd rather have a buffalo take a diarrhea dump in his ear. He'd rather eat the rotten asshole of a roadkill skunk and down it with beer. He's the angriest
IWC.
you've ever heard. He's the angry
WWF.
nerd. He's the angry
TNA and Ring of Honor.
nerd. He's the angry
Wrestling.
nerd.
Oh, Nitpicker, you have not learned, have you?
Cedric Alexander and Noam Dar. They were, Jesus Christ. Cedric Alexander and Noam Dar. Noam Dar is talking to Alicia Fox. This storyline sucks, by the way. So he's talking to Alicia Fox. They're FaceTiming, because I guess Alicia's selling some sort of neck injury, so she's not even there. She's at home, and she's selling a neck injury, and he's FaceTiming with her. We can see her, we can hear her as he walks to the ring. Bell rings. 10 seconds, not even 10 seconds later, after Cedric nails him, pins him, that's it, match over. And this is what 205 Live is all about. This is supposed to get people interested in watching 205 Live. This was a waste of time. This is what the cruiserweights are out there for? This is what the cruiserweights are out there to get people excited about? To do comedy? 10 seconds? Match over? Huh. Boy, I better make time in my schedule to watch an hour of this on Tuesday nights. It's any wonder why most weeks 205 Live does not even crack the top 20 on the WWE Network. Their own channel. Their own network. A live original show on most weeks does not crack the top 10. Sometimes doesn't even crack the top 20. You will have stuff that Conrad Thompson is talking about on his podcast with Tony Schiavone or with Bruce Pritchard. And enough people go to the network to watch it. They're more interested in that than they are watching 205 Live. So the whole Cruiserweight thing, and I know we've talked about this before, it sounds like a broken record here, but the Cruiserweight division is not exactly what most fans, I think, envisioned it to be originally when it was conceived of, and it's because of stupid stuff like this. It's not that you can't tell stories or have storylines. I'm not advocating just send the guys out there with no stories, no purpose, and just let them wrestle every single week. And that's it. You can come up with stories that are interesting, that are compelling. Look, they did it in the Cruiserweight Classic. That tournament is maybe one of the best tournaments from start to finish that WWE has ever produced. Between the action, between the announcing, between the presentation. It was great. And I thought when the Cruiserweight division came back, we were going to get more of that. Instead, it's more of the same. This is what Vince McMahon's vision of what everybody wants is. And damn it, you're gonna enjoy it. And if not, well, too bad.
So if you don't know Solomon Stories, this is the gist of what he said in that long rant. Nobody watches 205 Live on WWE Network. He's mad that a cruiserweight match on Raw only lasted about 10 seconds, and the cruiserweight matches need to be longer in order for people to be interested in them. I'm sorry, what? For 6 months now, WWE has dedicated an hour of their programming for a wrestling show exclusively for cruiserweights, or wrestlers 205 pounds or less. In addition, there has always been segments and matches on Monday Night Raw to go along with it. So when the match on Monday Night Raw doesn't get as much time as the nitpicker thinks, he gets butthurt. I have some news for you, longer doesn't always mean better. At this year's E3, Sony and Microsoft had 1-hour presentations. Nintendo's was 25 minutes, and they put on the most entertaining of all of them. In previous years, they had presentations as long as 2 hours. Just why exactly does every match need to be long in order to please you? The last time I checked, RAW is always 3 hours long, so you're always getting 3 hours of programming. You never get more or less. If WWE invests more time in Cruiserweight, they have to take that time away from other storylines and wrestlers that people actually do care about. In regards to 205 Live, that's an extra hour of programming. If you watch it, great. Continue to watch it. If you don't watch it, great. Don't watch it. As I said about fans of women's wrestling, you're either fans of cruiserweight wrestling, or you're not. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. And by now, WWE have given enough talent, matches, and storylines for people to decide whether they like it or they don't. You just said it yourself. Most WWE Network subscribers do not watch 205 Live. If they aren't interested, then they aren't. There's nothing WWE can do to change their minds. What you suggest is that you want to give those that aren't interested in cruiserweight wrestling more cruiserweight wrestling. That's not how it works. And this is common for any kind of business. If a product fails to sell well, you don't try to shove it down consumers' throats and expect them to actually buy it. Kinect is dead. The Xbox One console came with a mandatory add-on called the Kinect that nobody wanted. It hurt their sales tremendously, and so they no longer have it, because nobody wants it. I am a fan of the cruiserweights, but even I know that when there's hardly any interest in them, you don't give people more when they don't ask for it. And considering that they have an hour-long show to themselves, you have no right to complain, because for people that watch cruiserweight wrestling, they have a product for those people. The fact that you care more about a 10-second match instead on one show instead of a totally different hour-long show is pathetic. For that matter, there were no compelling stories in the Cruiserweight Classic. It was a tournament full of matches. There were wrestlers that gave you emotion for why they needed to win and advance in the tournament but not established storylines. If you don't like the storylines currently in 205 Live, then maybe it's because they have been trying to make new storylines to please a broader range of people? Don't you think it's because a show about skinny men isn't interesting enough to normal human beings? But have mercy. They have to book a show that 3 million people watch, and not everyone is going to get exactly what they want.